I just wanted to elaborate on a new project going on right now. I've fabricated a couple of these coffee table tops, and here's the latest one. This is the dry fitting and gluing up of the edges. The corner detail was critical in making this design all come together. Here I am finishing the fabrication, cutting the blocks to the final size, and pulling out the interior filler pieces. As we move along through the different processes, I will try to explain what is happening. First, the corner blocks are made and dry fit. This area is where the sides and the corners are getting glued together. This is a custom amount of putty that's being made. Sawdust and Titebond white glue goes all around the hairline joints. That is very carefully applied and then sanded, and you can see that all that sanding that needs to happen and detail work to make that look like a one cohesive design and careful joinery. Here is a little bit of belt sanding on the corners, and then of course routing the edges with a little 1/8 inch bullnose design on the top corners, a little bit of sanding, make it look nice, and then of course we flip it over and we will do the same thing on the bottom. And those blocks were just a tad bit high, so they needed to be shaved down a little bit. So you can see belt sanding here and making sure the underside looks equally nice, and of course then routing that bottom edge as well. And then of course moving on after that, we're going to apply carbon fiber to that surrounding edge as a cosmetic and kind of high-tech look. Here I am cutting up the carbon fiber strips, and I will lay down carbon fiber with a little bit of epoxy on one edge, let it dry, cure, and then the next day come back and do the other side. I'm flipping it on its edge and then test fitting, of course, a little bit of what we call hot coat epoxy, and that'll kick off in 2 or 3 hours overnight and come back the next day and do the other side. That is a little bit of a wax paper to act as a release film and also stabilizes the carbon fiber filaments and fabric to have a nice even look. Once that's cured, come back in and do the other side, of course, and then trim out and detail the edges. Another additional hot coat goes over the top so I can make a nice clean routed edge on the bottom edge. I left that a little bit long, and so therefore I can make a nice simple cut and finish on the bottom edge. The next part of this process will be an epoxy bar top surface, and stay tuned and we will show that shortly. Remember, aperfectyacht.com for your next custom project. This video is the first part of a 3-part series. The next one we will apply some epoxy to some smaller parts and then move on to the final tabletop coating of the bar top style epoxy.